Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. My name is Artem, and here is the news. For 667 days, Ukraine stands strong against the forces of the Russian invasion. Mykola Oleshchuk, commander of the Air Force of Ukraine, informed that Ukraine's air defense downed 3 Russian Su-34 fighter bombers in a single day, reports Militarny. According to the commander, it happened yesterday at noon on the southern front. Ukrainian Air Force spokesman Colonel Yuri Ignat explained that 3 Russian Su-34 fighter bombers were caught during a risky maneuver. The Russian aircraft were trying to drop guided bombs deeper behind the front line, reports Army TV. Quote, "They get cocky, came closer, tried to strike our troops with guided bombs deeper in the defense positions. You know that 500 kilos bombs can fly 20-25 kilometers into the depths of our defenses, 70 kilometers in total. But when you want to strike and are itching to strike, you have to fly closer. They took a risk unsuccessfully. Hopefully the Russians will take more such risks and we will see more downed Russian Su fighter bombers," said Ignat. Later, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky, in his evening video address, expressed his gratitude to the soldiers who destroyed 3 Russian Sukhoi aircraft at once. He stressed that every Russian pilot should be well aware of Ukraine's response to every Russian killer. None of them will go unpunished. The Netherlands has decided to commence preparations for delivering the first 18 F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine, reports European Pravda. Yesterday, Volodymyr Zelensky held a phone call with Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, and Rutte informed about his decision. According to Rutte, besides an export permit, a number of other criteria must also still be met before delivery can take place, including requirements for personnel and infrastructure. Zelensky said he thanked Rutte for the decision on the F-16s and for his active support for the decision to open EU membership talks for Ukraine. Analysts of the US Institute for the Study of War believe that Ukraine will most likely receive the first batch of F-16 fighter jets by the end of 2023. A recent strategic document of the Ministry of Defense of Estonia states that the Netherlands, Denmark, Norway and Belgium have already committed to deliver F-16s to Ukraine by the end of the year. We would really appreciate if you could rate us, ideally with 5 stars, in the app where you are listening to this podcast, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify and others. This way more people would learn about the podcast and truth about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The law enforcers arrested the head of one of the Ukrainian Defense Ministry's main directorates on suspicion of embezzling 1.5 billion hryvnia, which is about $40 million, during the purchase of artillery shells for the armed forces, reports Suspilne. According to the investigation, in December last year, an official of the Defense Ministry signed an agreement with a special export company to purchase a wholesale batch of artillery shells for Ukrainian defenders. But the budget funds were not transferred to the account of the special exporter. The newly created Defense Procurement Agency of the Defense Ministry subsequently signed a more favorable contract for the supply of the same artillery shells with the same manufacturer. The new contract provided for the purchase of ammunition directly from the manufacturer, which significantly reduced the delivery time and cost of the products. However, despite the contract, the suspect extended the previous agreement with the special exporting company. After the extension, almost $40 million was transferred to the accounts of an affiliated foreign intermediary firm. This amount exceeded the value of the products under the direct contract with the manufacturer by 30%. The investigation is ongoing. The offender faces up to 15 years in prison. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We're a commercial initiative of just 2 people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.